950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 42, tonight cloudy with a low around 33, and Wednesday cloudy with a high around 44. The Great Wall Restaurant brings classic Szechuan and Peking Mandarin dishes right to the Twin Cities, featuring favorites like pan-fried dumplings and fish fillet in ginger sauce. Stop by the Great Wall location at 4515 France Avenue South and browse their full extensive menu at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Welcome to The Gailey Show. We're the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker, joined by my executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, all.
Live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. If you like what we're doing, subscribe on YouTube. Click on that like button and leave us a comment. Okay, I have so many tabs open on my laptop right now because there is so much to talk about. One thing that we're going to talk about later in the show that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time now is taxes. And I know folks are like, oh my God, quickly get me off this show. Who wants to talk about taxes? But we all talk about wanting Elon Musk to pay his fair share. We all talk about wanting Jeff Bezos to pay his fair share. But what does that actually look like beyond, make them pay their fair share? So the Economic Policy Institute came out with a report yesterday detailing very succinctly a lot of fun things that we can be doing. And I want to talk about it because I think the faster that we all get on board with policy proposals, when we hit 2028, 2027 for that Democratic primary, we can start making demands of our candidates who say they want to be president starting January 2029. So we're going to get into that later in the show. Also, Trump just nominated an attorney to serve as a federal judge, specifically because he is anti-trans. Yeah, so much for being able to go into that courtroom and have, free
Justice.
And impartial justice.
Yeah, forget it.
Epstein, a lot to catch up there. Particularly a headline that came out on Tuesday that I am particularly, as a progressive, very giddy about. But up first, breaking news. Federal judge has blocked, breaking news on Tuesday, a federal judge has blocked Texas's new congressional map. That gives them 5 new seats. The federal court, in a 2-1 decision, told Texas, you can't do this because it violates the U.S. Voting Rights Act, saying that it is a racial gerrymander and you can't do that. The ruling, I'm going to quote directly from it here. The quote, the public perception of this case is that it's about politics, and to be sure, politics played a role in drawing the 2025 map. But it was much more than just politics. Substantial evidence showed that Texas racially gerrymandered the 2025 map. So this is a 2-1 decision. A nearly 2-week trial took place in El Paso, Texas, and Texas is expected now to appeal directly to the Supreme Court. Womp womp. We'll see what happens because, Chief Justice Roberts has been looking for any chance that he can get to rip apart the Voting Rights Act. And so we'll see what he says here. What I personally would expect is what they've been doing on a lot of cases. I imagine that this will, get appealed up to the Supreme Court. I could see them taking it on their shadow docket, which means they can just make a ruling and not tell you why. They can skip the whole process altogether. They could skip having oral arguments. They could skip having to do research and look into it. They could just write a 1-sentence opinion and say, yeah, no, these are unblocked. Go ahead and use them. And we'll all be stuck trying to figure out, how is this constitutional? How is that happening? And if you think Does the Supreme Court do that? They do it all the time
Now,
this year using the shadow docket, particularly to support the Trump administration.
Yep.
Anytime, like I think 80-90% of the time when the Trump administration sends something up to the Supreme Court using this shadow docket saying emergency, I didn't get a ruling that I like, help me, they give it to him. So Texas will now run this up to the Supreme Court, and we'll see what they do here. But it was to point out here that the AP News is reporting judges appointed by both Trump and Obama formed the majority. So 2-1. So a Trump judge and an Obama judge voted to stop the map. A Reagan appointee dissented. So we will see. The ruling further said, without an injunction on the map, stopping the map, the racial minorities the plaintiff groups represent will be forced to be represented in Congress based on a likely unconstitutional racial classification for at least 2 years. I think it would be absolutely ironic, and I'm using the actual definition of the term here, if Texas loses somehow with the Supreme Court, but California prevails and continues, and the Democrats end up with a 5-vote pickup because they voted on theirs. Now, I'm trying to find the data on this, and I don't know, Jim, if you can find it, because I didn't realize this ruling was going to come out today. I found out that California's is specifically tied to Texas's. So long as Texas moves forward with theirs, California's going to do their map so that it balances out 5-5. I don't know if the Supreme Court somehow rules against Texas and says, no, you can't do this, you have to stay with your old maps. Does the vote that California took on November 5th, does that then undo? We'll have to find that up. I don't know if you can find that during the show today, but we'll look into that and bring that reporting to you. So yeah,
well,
good news.
Yeah, I think it says something very sad about our country when every time you hear now they're going to take it to the Supreme Court, you think, oh, well, there's no justice there. There's nobody. And forgive me for the liberal members of the court. I'm talking about the 6 morons. There's no sense of America. There's no sense of precedent. There's no respect for law. There's no respect for history. So when you hear that, it's like being told when I was growing up, oh, well, we're going to leave it to the Russians. It's like the worst people you can think of are the people that are going to make the decision. So it's disheartening. And I hope John Roberts actually has a pair. I don't think he does, but if he does, this would be a good time for him to pull them out. I'll just leave it with that.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, has already issued a statement on Tuesday afternoon saying the legislature redrew our congressional maps to better reflect Texans' conservative voting preferences and for no other reason. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, Greg Abbott is a moron. He's, I bet if we did an IQ test on Greg, it would be
it's all the pretzel logic. Right. You know what I mean? It's all of this. If I'm doing it, it's fine. If you're doing it, it's wrong. And
right.
There it is. It's so funny listening to Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States. I have to keep saying that because I still can't believe that it's true. Yes. When she filed the lawsuit against California for doing what they're doing, you read all of her language, and it comes from our side of the aisle where we're like, you shouldn't be gerrymandering. Like literally every single thing that we have ever said about why we shouldn't be gerrymandered is in her lawsuit against California. But what Texas is doing, it's fine.
For the record, I want to say in Texas, 4,800,000 people voted for Harris Walz. So I don't want to hear the little motorized moron talk about
Jim. Texas. That was so inappropriate.
The voting.
We can have an argument, and then you have to make it like that, and it's just unnecessary.
They're making it personal. I'm going to make it very personal.
Yeah, well, there's no need to do.
So 4.8 million people are disenfranchised. That's not democratic. And he needs to go back to remedial education and be taught that, apparently.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's turn and look into what's happening in the House of Representatives. Voted Tuesday afternoon. I was not expecting the vote. I know, Jim, you were saying you thought they were going to just get 7 more votes.
I thought they were going
the Republicans to pass this resolution.
I thought they were going to get as few as they could and then make it the Senate's problem.
Yeah.
But then the coward said, "Oh, I'm going to lose this, so I don't want to be seen as a loser. I'm going to capitulate," which means he's throwing one of his major donors into the campfire, and we're going to see who it is when this comes out. But I thought they were going to leave it for the Senate to worry about, but they didn't.
427 to 1.
Yep. That's called you've lost the
427
court of public opinion.
to 1. Representative Clay Higgins, a Louisiana Republican, according to the Associated Press, is a fervent supporter of Trump and voted against the resolution. I guess we'll see if MAGA makes good on that and primaries him to get rid of him. They said they were going to get rid of any Republican who doesn't vote for this resolution. So
what are there, 218 or something? 219 Republicans.
Yeah,
so one
right
didn't,
now,
so there's 218.
Yeah.
So 218 bad Republicans, according to Dumbbell.
I'll be curious now. It's going to go over to the Senate. I'll be curious to see when they take it up, given that it's 427 to 1. The Senate Majority Leader Thune has been circumspect about it. I think he was, loving that it wasn't his problem. It was Mike Johnson's problem. And Mike Johnson was just like, we don't need a Congress. We don't need a House of Representatives. Let's just shut it all down. And then I'm sure he was thrilled when there was the actual shutdown, because then he's like, I don't have to open this at all. We don't have to vote on it. I don't have to seat a duly elected member of Congress. We can just, shut everything down so that we don't have to vote for this. And now here we are, 427 to 1. Something that I was not expecting. We saw that Larry Summers got named last week when the emails came out that were released from the Epstein estate, based off of a congressional subpoena from one of the House committees. And now Larry Summers, former president of Harvard University, former U.S. Treasury Secretary, has said that he is now going to be backing away from public commitments after the release of those emails showed that he was super duper friendly with Jeff Epstein, his BFF.
Well, was he as good a friend as Donald Trump was? I don't know.
I want to tell you why I'm giddy about this from a progressive economics perspective when we come back after this break. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe, leave a comment, like us, like this video on YouTube. You listen to The Gailey Show. More after the break.
History Theater celebrates the fascinating history of the St. Paul Winter Carnival with the world premiere of Rollicking, a winter carnival musical November 22nd through December 21st in St. Paul. Discover the strange, wonderful heart of a tradition built on resilience, imagination, and the enduring spirit of our snowy state. Discounts are available for students, seniors, and groups. Don't miss this vibrant premiere. Find details now at historytheater.com. That's historytheater.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. November is here, so you're probably thinking two things right now. First is, man, where did this year go? And second is, oh no, I'm hosting Thanksgiving and my house is not ready at all. So you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to get things in order before your friends and family come over to celebrate. Every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, from hardwood, carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, and more, so you don't have to worry about your friends and family plopping down on a nasty couch. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 21,000 reviews, so go ahead and get clean. And don't miss this month's deal. Get 3 rooms of carpet starting at just $139 and $50 off an air duct cleaning. You just need to call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Back order forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
To the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. So last week when the emails came out, the Epstein emails that were released by the estate under a subpoena from a House committee, Larry Summers, the former president of Harvard, the former U.S. Treasury Secretary, was found to have a chummy relationship with Mr. Epstein. He's now said that he's going to be taking a step back from public commitments. And this guy was just, he under Clinton helped deregulate Wall Street, which led to a lot of the problems that we had in the Great Depression, let's call it for what it was, in 2008. And then under Obama, he managed, along with Timothy Geithner, to convince President Obama not to go after the banks. And I know, Jim, you've talked about that for a very long time, about how we had an opportunity to rein in the banks.
Yep.
And David Axelrod, who was a advisor to Obama, helped get him elected, said, yeah, we're going to go through with this. And there's a quote of him that said, Summers and Geithner opposed attaching big strings to bailouts. They thought it was wrong to kick banks when they were down. Banks that almost destroyed the economy. We don't want to rein them in. No, that wouldn't be yeah. So his advice ultimately led to even higher resentment for banks, led to unemployment going up during the Obama administration. And a lot of people couldn't feel the economic benefits that they claimed they were bringing about. And so, last week I said something here on the show, which was that, Democrats use a center-right economic policy. And then I had 2 people on the show, Representative Lee Finke and Representative Liz Ryer, Minnesota state representatives. And I was saying, well, why is there this disconnect for why, voters don't think that Democrats deliver on working class issues? When you look at Minnesota, they very clearly did. And I want to make the distinction of how could those two things be true. When we look at what Minnesota did as progressive legislation, so for folks who are listening to this on AM 950 radio and WCPT 820, our economics, what we're going to see Zohran Mamdani do, Mayor-elect Mamdani do in New York City, we provide working class economics. We provide results that deal with kitchen table issues. When we look at what we did here in Minnesota, universal meals for kids, free college tuition for families making under $80,000 a year, tax exemptions, expanding that, child care, the parental leave law for families. These are things very clearly, that was just a few of them, right? That progressives who are in the Democratic Party, who are able to take control and dictate economic policy, as we were able to do in Minnesota during the trifecta. We call it the trifecta for folks in Chicago because we had both sides of the legislature and we had the governorship. But then you look at folks like Larry Summers, who very clearly wanted to run things from the center right. And he very clearly, looking at that national level on trade, on banking policy, on fiscal, he was sort of emblematic of this lurching of the Democratic Party away from progressive policies that it had done in the past, away from democratic socialism, aka FDR, the only president who was ever elected 4 times in the history of the United States. And so many times that Republicans were like, oh my God, we have to stop this. So we passed an amendment to stop that from happening. Apparently, the Republicans don't care about it now. That's going to be a whole other story for another day when they're going to try to get Trump on the ballot in 2028. But here's another part of it. When he was president of Harvard, he came under Larry Summers' huge criticism. We're going back now to 2005 when he started at it was at an academic conference when he was talking about how women have less ability to perform in science and mathematics than men. He downplayed the role of discrimination and social factors for why there weren't female professors in science and engineering at major universities. As president of Harvard, it was like a low point for women being able to get tenure at that university. Now, put this in context of that same time period, he's being BFFs with Jeffrey Epstein. So this is just, didn't know about it, giddy that this guy is going to finally get his comeuppance. And I see that Senator Elizabeth Warren is already going after him and saying that he needs to be stripped of everything and any relation that he has to Harvard. But yeah, we were talking earlier in the here in the studio with the host of the Downright Upright show, Philip Anthony, and we were all here in the studio agreeing, like, it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat, it doesn't matter if it's a progressive, it doesn't matter if it's a MAGA person. If you are in those files, you need to be held accountable. It doesn't matter if you're a Prince of England, former Prince Andrew.
Right.
You need to be taken down. You need to be tried. You need to have accountability in this.
Right.
And so for those of us who did not like Larry Summers and on policy issues, and then we're like, wait a minute, dude, why are you sitting here going after women as the president of Harvard? Like, what is going on here? Mm-hmm. And then it just starts to all come out. Eventually, 20 years later, from when he made those remarks at a conference in 2005, we start to see just exactly how much of a garbage human being Larry Summers actually was.
Yeah, doesn't look good. And the sad thing, like you say, is that if Obama had waited 24 more hours, Citicorp was going to go bankrupt. And when that happened, and he would have brought the rest of the banks into a conference room and said, look, here's what's going to happen. We're going to break you guys up into a million pieces. No more of the centralized with all of you having the high percentage of all the banking. It would have broken that whole terrible gang of thieves apart.
And it also, I was always like, how in the heck
Terrible.
Was he a fellow of the Center for American Progress, which is labels itself a progressive think tank.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you have Larry Summers there, it's sort of like, really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, he was the guy that went after Biden and started tanking publicly the policies that he was going after. So when we see this huge bill that Biden passed to get people out of COVID, that was there were so many progressive policies in there. And then they just completely dismantled it, largely under, public criticism from guys like Larry Summers and the former, what was he? The former senator from, I just want to blank him from existence. I don't remember what his name is. Well, who is it? The former West Virginia senator?
Oh,
It's not even worth it. Not even worth it.
Coleman.
Don't even remember. We're gonna take a break here. When we come back, we're gonna talk about some more economic policy and a nightmare judge that Trump just nominated. You're listening to The Daily Show.
Wake up with your favorite sexy liberal, me, Stephanie Miller, every weekday morning from 8 to 11 right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, you know what that music means. It means I'm back, baby! The Grinch. Don't miss seeing me at Children's Theatre Company this holiday season. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is great for anyone who likes classic Grinchy tunes, and me, the mean one in the flesh, or in the green fur. Make your plans to spend the holiday season with me. You'll remember it forever. Tickets and showtimes at childrenstheatre.org.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Whether you're a local creator yourself or you know an artist who puts real purpose into their products, this message is for you. If you or they make things that do good for people or the planet, it's time to join the marketplace for good. CauseCart. CauseCart is the social impact marketplace connecting conscious shoppers with purpose-driven brands. It's the space to grow your impact, share your story, and reach a community that truly cares. At CauseCart, they know when good brands come together, everyone wins. You or that creator you know can set up a free account today at cause-cart.com. Once the account is set up, a CauseCart team member will personally reach out to learn about the products and the story behind them. Start selling where every purchase creates a positive impact. Visit cause-cart.com. That's cause-cart.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 42, tonight cloudy with a low around 33, and Wednesday cloudy with a high around 44. The Great Wall Restaurant brings classic Szechuan and Peking Mandarin dishes right to the Twin Cities, featuring favorites like pan-fried dumplings and fish fillet in ginger sauce. Stop by the Great Wall location at 4515 France Avenue South and browse their full extensive menu at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to the Daily Show. It is 33 minutes after the hour. I'm John Parker with my executive producer, Jim Pounds, also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And if you like what we're doing, subscribe. Click that like button and leave us a comment. We were talking before the break about the Epstein files and Larry Summers being implicated in them. Jim, you're finding out now that...
Well, the New York Times said that he was going to continue as a professor at Harvard. Now, Harvard has abdicated all of their legitimacy as an institution of higher learning. They've become a joke because of how they've capitulated to the fascists. And so,
don't get me started on that.
But it does make sense that in a place like that, which clearly has no standards that they operate by, that Larry Summers would continue to be a professor. That makes perfect, pathetic sense.
The caving to the Trump administration
Right.
is absolutely just
unforgivable.
Gross. And it's not even caving, it's allowing yourself to be extorted
Right.
when you have tens of billions of dollars
Right.
in an endowment,
Right.
and you're going to throw LGBTQ students and students of color under the bus for a measly 500 million when you're sitting on billions of dollars.
Right.
Gross.
So don't go to Harvard and don't take his class.
The fact that we haven't heard in over a week from the Harvard administration that they're like, no, you're not going to teach here anymore, despite the fact that you're okay, whatever. If it was a progressive, that double standard, if it was a progressive, then suddenly, you know what I mean, there would be an effigy on the Harvard Square and they'd be burning it alive. And instead it's also seeing here on I have so many tabs open, folks.
Just
like I'm
pick
trying
one.
to, so I found, here's a tab
Okay.
that I've gotten open. Republican leader Thune is saying that the Senate is going to take up the Epstein bill quickly and send it to Trump. So we will see how that happens. I'm very confused as to why he suddenly said, how did he get from I'm bringing Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room and having my people try to get her to take her name off of this discharge to get the vote to happen, and then also unendorsing Marjorie Taylor Greene over the weekend and saying, I will give money and I will support any primary challenger to her, and then is now like, okay, well, if you pass it, then I'll sign it.
What I've read is that he knew it was going to pass, that he couldn't stop it, and he didn't want to be seen as receiving a rebuke from Congress, which he is, because of
does he care?
Going back a little further before that, he said now this whole thing was a hoax. It was the basis of his run in 2024. Then it became a hoax. Then it was only bad Democrats would fall for it. And now it's, go ahead. So literally that man, what is left of his mind, has gone through 4 pretzel twists and is sort of ludicrous sitting there in the corner talking to himself.
I mean, when I hear that, given how every time a reporter asks him about it, he insults them. Or on Tuesday was saying that, it was an ABC reporter asking him, and he said the ABC should lose their license with the FCC altogether.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hear that he's suddenly on board and is like, well, fine, I'll sign it, immediately my brain goes to, all right, what have they lined up in the DOJ to make sure that not all the files are going out, that they're not going to comply with everything. This is a guy that runs out the clock. Also, he has a brilliant legal strategy of gum up the works, throw as many motions as possible, slow the whole thing down as much as possible, and then I'll get my way. And you want proof of that? Look at the documents case in South Florida, where he got a friendly judge, Trump judge, gave him everything that he wanted. He just threw motion after motion in there, slowed the whole thing down, won the election, and then boom, suddenly that case, the laws that he broke around sensitive documents that they're now charging John Bolton of doing, former national security advisor, apparently doesn't apply to him. So I guess that's where I get worried when I see that he's suddenly supporting this. I don't find that as a win. In my mind, I'm thinking, what has he set up with Pam Bondi to make sure that he's not implicated, that his name doesn't show up in anywhere of the files, that we're not going to get all of the files.
Right. Well, we don't know that, but I want to add to what you said. The judge in Florida was an incompetent Trump judge, not just a Trump judge.
Justice Cannon.
Not qualified to be in her position. So, but I do think he's going to try to do something, say something about, oh, well, there's an ongoing phony investigation that I've put together now, so we can't release all the files. Unless his people start to realize, oh, we're being taken here, which you have been taken since the first time he came down the escalator, wake up and hold him accountable now, through your Republican representative.
Well, we will see. I am still flummoxed that this is the issue that MAGA is breaking up with him over. But that I want to unpack that further in another thing, because I know Jimmy and I have had lots of arguments offline as to how and why this is the issue that they are trying to hold him accountable on. But we will be following that story. Obviously, it's not going away. There's lots more to learn here, and I am very much looking forward to all of these slimy jerks, is what I can say, on the radio, being found out and held accountable for who they have been all this time. All right, I want to talk about something now that most people are going to try to dive off of YouTube from, or they're going to turn off the radio.
Well, don't say that.
And that is, nobody likes talking about taxes.
Oh.
I like talking about revenge taxes. Maybe if I frame it that way, let's have some revenge taxes here against the oligarchy. So, Jim, a question for you. How much money did Elon Musk spend supporting Trump in 2024?
Just Trump or Republican?
Just the Trump campaign.
Well, I'm assuming 100 million is a guess.
$277 million.
Yeah.
On just that campaign. So as a Wisconsin resident, how much did Elon Musk spend on the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin earlier this year?
Was it 30 million or something like that?
Not as much. It was $2 million directly from his pocket.
Oh, that's not that
Not
much.
Quite sure. Couldn't find the exact numbers on the PACs that are associated with him. How much they give. That money could obviously be much higher, but he gave $2 million to the Wisconsin GOP to get his preferred candidate elected.
And shame on his board of directors and the two companies he's in for allowing him to remain as the CEO, because that's a disgrace. Both of those brands should be burned.
That's in
the middle of a field.
Additional story here.
Yeah.
But here's going to be my argument here. Their money is funding the government in the sense that they pay for elected officials to get elected, and then they get these huge windfalls and get what they want from these elected officials. And sometimes Supreme Court justices, Justice Clarence Thomas and Alito, looking at you.
He loves to be bought.
Yes, he does. Alternatively, though, we could tax them and fund the government through congressional appropriations that funds everybody. Do you want Elon Musk spending $277 million as a bribe to Trump or other judges, elected officials, or would you rather tax him, get that $277 million, have it go into a democratic process, aka Congress, to then appropriate that money to education, to healthcare, to roads? I would like to have the latter. Now, Jim, another fun fact. If you, of the 10 richest billionaires on the planet, if I tomorrow said, I am taking 99% of your wealth away from you, 10 richest billionaires on the blue planet and the Milky Way galaxy on our side of the universe, would they still be billionaires?
Yeah, but the top 10, well, if you took 90%, 99%, I feel like I'm trying to think who all those 10 are. I know who most of them are. I'm sure they probably, maybe on number 10, it would be taking quite a bit of their holdings. But you're going to tell me that's not nearly that, I'm sure.
Yes, the answer is true. With those 10, you could take away 99% of their wealth, and they would still be billionaires.
Gross. I'm just going to say that.
According to data from Oxfam, which is an organization that studies poverty and does the best data looking at income inequality in the world, have discovered from the data that if you took the top 10 richest billionaires, took away 99% of it, they would still be billionaires.
Gross. Yeah, that's
And I
gross.
think sometimes people hear this about taxes and go, oh my God, I don't want people taxing me, so I can't support taxes in general. Okay. They are not, there isn't a built-in inequality into our corporations here. If you work for McDonald's, if you work for Best Buy, if you work for any of these companies, there is built-in income inequality into those. The money's not going into your pocket. The money is, you're getting no raise, you're getting no wages. It is going up to the CEOs. And they're getting more and more and more money. And that money, where is it going? It is sitting in savings accounts in Switzerland. It is sitting in offshore accounts. It is just literally not being spent. What is the point of hundreds of billions of dollars sitting in accounts that nobody is doing anything with?
I think it's more than just the CEO. I think it's the C-suite. And what American management now, sadly, is all about is hitting their profit numbers, which is the biggest part of the economy. That's the problem, is the maximize profit. They're all trying to manipulate however they can to hit those numbers, because then they get huge bonuses. So the game now is not necessarily produce a good product, not necessarily develop customer loyalty, not necessarily win against your competitors. It's hit your profit numbers so that you personally benefit.
But the workers are working on that. The people that are making under $250,000 are working on that.
Yeah.
They're building those companies, but they're not getting appropriately compensated for that work.
It's like
it's all funneling up into, fine, I'll agree with that, the C-suite, who are then taking that money and dumping it off in places where it's not getting spent.
Right. It's like the Lord of the Manor and his fat family got plenty of food, and the people who raised the food were barely, almost starving. We're basically a few steps away from seeing a time when we will be living like that if we don't stop this.
There is then the Economic Policy Institute. They've said, okay, let's take a look at taxes here. And why we're on that is because they just released a report on Monday. It is written by Josh Bivens, Bivens. You can go to epi.org. It's on their homepage. You can take a look at this if you are a nerd. But I want to go through some of, and I say that I'm the nerd. I'm literally looking for tax research right now. So there's that about me. I really love this option. Tax the Greedy Billionaires has been proposed by the Why Not Initiative, which is a wealth tax of 5%, 5% on wealth over $50 million. And this is it goes up. So it's 5% on 50 million, 10% on 250 million and above. And then it sort of plateaus right from there. That is a number. That word, tax the greedy billionaires. There's a couple other options I want to get to when we come back, but that is something I want us to start advocating for when we come up on these primaries. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 and WCPT 820.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Hey, Francois, where are we going and why do you have so many canvas bags?
Salut Laura, on y va chez Nicolette's Macarons.
Oh, I've never been to Nicolette's store. They're just off Highway 169 and 36th in Plymouth.
Oui, ils ont 16 saveurs de macarons là.
They have 16 flavors of macaroons at the store. That's why you have so many canvas bags. I love how Nicolette supports small food entrepreneurs. Let's hurry. They're open afternoons, Wednesday through Friday, and midday on Saturdays.
Nicolette, c'est génial. Allons-y.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Jay from Greenhouse Salon and Shop. If your current salon experience feels rushed or impersonal, come feel the difference at Greenhouse. Our artists create personalized styles in a warm, inclusive space, and our shop is full of unique gifts from local women makers. See some of what's in store and book your appointment online at greenhousebrynmar.com. Better yet, stop by 403 Cedar Lake Road South in the quaint Bryn Mawr neighborhood of Minneapolis. Greenhouse, where every client feels cared for.
Hey, this is John Parker at Rainbow Road in Minneapolis. The holidays are coming up, and you can buy a limited selection of official Tom of Finland swimwear, tanks, and underwear for that special someone or for yourself. But don't wait on this. When they're gone, they're gone. And while you're there, update your gym look from a wide selection of tanks, t-shirts, and shorts. Rainbow Road is open 7 days a week on Grand Street by Loring Park and all the time at rainbowrd.com. Remember to get it at the road.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour. I am John Parker, my executive producer Jim Pounds here with me in the studio. We're talking about the totally sexy idea of taxation, taxing the rich. I am liking to think of it as revenge taxes, getting back on them for what they are doing to our country and trying to get us all on the same page of things that we can start to advocate for presidential nominees and folks that are going to be in Congress in 2026, but also when we take back everything in 2028. So the first thing that we were talking about, recommendation from the Economic Policy Institute, new report that they put out on their website on Monday. Go to epi.org. You can see it. This particular tax suggested and thought through by the Why Not Initiative, which is the tax the greedy billionaires. So you would make over $50 million, you pay 5% on that wealth. And then if you make $250 million, you pay 10%, etc. Another one that I want to talk about, because this is a really simple way of doing it. So it is a high income surtax. And according to EPI, this is the most straightforward way, so to speak, to tightly target a tax on a small slice of the richest taxpayers. And that is to use a high income surtax. And this is essentially just an across the board tax on all types of incomes, ordinary income, business income, dividends, capital gains above a certain threshold, because they make money in a whole bunch of different ways. It's not just a paycheck that they get every 2 weeks like you and I do. It is from business, from dividends, from capital gains. If you pick a certain threshold, high income surtax, then there's no way that working class people are going to be affected by this. So one proposal is a 10% surtax on incomes over $1 million. So, and I want to say this, I'm not saying to do all of these things. Not saying that. You can do the tax, the greedy billionaires tax. You could do a high income surtax like this, which is just saying 10%, you make over $1 million. There you go. That would, Jim, affect how many households in the United States? Percent of households.
Above what number? Above what income number?
Incomes making over $1 million.
Oh, well, that's going to be quite a few. There's only 759 billionaires, so that's what I was originally thinking. But you're saying
a percent of households.
Income over $1 million. You're looking for a percent of households. Well, probably 6%.
0.5.
Oh, Okay.
0.5%.
Yeah.
Just about thereabouts
Yeah.
would be affected by this particular tax.
That makes sense.
And the Internal Revenue Service, using their stats, the Economic Policy Institute found that that would generate $1.55 trillion. There you go. So those are two really great options for us: a high income surtax on millionaires, or the tax the greedy billionaires tax.
I like it.
Two options that we need to be looking for and our elected officials going forward if we are going to turn this around. If we're going to stick with capitalism as an economic system, then we can't have this level of income inequality. We can't have the Elon Musks and the Jeff Bezoses paying money for either to get someone elected, their preferred judges, or in Jeff Bezos' case right now, and a whole bunch of other of them saying, I will give you $1 million to build your golden ballroom, and then I'm going to expect some stuff from you in return.
So gross.
No. All right, before we go here today, I want to talk about a nomination that the Trump has done for the federal judge in the Indiana Southern District Court. He has nominated Justin Olson. Justin Olson has been very active with Icons, which is an organization that sues over trans women playing in sports. That has been his claim to fame. That's what he's spending his time as a litigator doing. And now the Trump administration has said that we are nominating him, because he has been fighting tirelessly to keep men out of women's sports. That was a direct quote from the social media post announcing his nomination. Instead of looking at, just his qualifications, they nominate, they're like, oh, he graduated magna cum laude. Okay, fine. He was a U.S. attorney. Okay, great. But to say, oh, this is a guy that used that experience to deliberately discriminate against a group of people, tirelessly doing it, aggressively doing it. And because of that work, we're going to put him on the judge circuit.
Yeah. He's a good hater, they're saying. He's good at hating, apparently. Because that's the greatest issue of our time, as you've said.
The great issue of our time.
That's right.
The great
all
issue
10
of our
of
time.
those
Not climate change.
athletes. No.
Not rich people taking all the money and leaving us with nothing.
No.
It's trans women playing in sports.
All 10 of them. Yep. Or 20.
That's the great issue of our time.
Just critical.
An issue that is great to those of us here at AM 950 Radio. None of this is possible of what we do here, either at the Gailey Show, which is the only daily LGBTQ news and radio talk show in the country. We've got Native Roots Radio, which is the same thing for Native American and Indigenous people. We have the Matt McNeil Show. We've got Ghost Box Radio. Again, very innovative programming. Trust me when I say that this current administration is coming for independent media. They've been going after public radio. We've all seen that, trying to defund it. They're coming after independent radio as well. I need you at this commercial break here to go to am950radio.com and sign up to be a sustaining member of AM 950 Radio. As a gift, we're going to send you a 2026 calendar with photography by our very own Matt McNeil. And there are bonus gifts as well, depending on the size of your contribution. And you need to keep AM 950 independent and community driven. Look at all the community programs we do on the weekend. So go to am950radio.com. Right there, there's a link on how to become a member. Get your 2026 calendar with featured photography by our very own Matt McNeil today. Go right now in this commercial break. And until this time tomorrow when we see you back here, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.